Stream's starting now.
Cool. No, I saw that somebody commented on that video. They're like, "Oh, Razor wasn't on that list. Donnie's such a moron." But then Henry corrected him. Henry put Razor on like S tier or something.
And we had Lone Druid on there twice, I realized afterwards.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
he deserves it. He's 2 heroes, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true. The bear is top tier, but the main hero is not that great.
I actually played Lone Druid yesterday, and good God, that hero feels good. I mean,
Yeah.
if they don't like innately counter you, Lone Druid feels really good.
I'm not a good puck at all, and I feel like I can't have a bad puck game. Every single time I play puck, I go like 20-5 or something. It feels so ridiculously easy. I'm doing like Bassi starting and then sending a salve and then rushing Veil. And like
You're playing offline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it so quickly. And then bots are so strong, and like bots have always been good on puck. And now that silence is like targetable and you get the silence talent, the hero is so fucking hard to kill. And there's so many heroes that are like impossible to catch. Like, what is this Magnus bullshit with infinite skewer?
Oh my
Why the fuck was that added to Dota? Well, who thought that was a good idea? After Ember Spirit? Are you kidding me? But
that one's one of the funniest ones.
Also is another one of those.
Yes,
really hard to kill.
That one's
Weaver,
definitely one of the
if people
funniest.
pick that. Lycan's insanely hard to catch. Like, there's so much. There's Lone Druid's like 2 billion move speed. Come on.
That's one of the things that I was thinking about with the new items. There's a lot of room for interesting utility items that they just didn't have. Whereas it's like 80% of the items are just damage and shit. But we could add interesting utility like make someone have longer cooldowns, or I don't know, stuff that might make other heroes easy to kill.
Yeah, that would be really cool actually. They don't have anything like that. Although I find that some of the later items are pretty interesting. I'd say like 50% of the items are really interesting, and then like the other 50% are just insanely boring.
Yeah, I agree. Like Royal Jelly, it's just like
like Faded Brooch or whatever. Like it's just move speed and mana. It's like okay, it's a windlace. It's just stats, which is cool I guess, but I love Shovel. I love that Shovel.
The Shovel, yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah,
the Shovel is really cool.
Shovel when you're an alchemist is like
if you're an alchemist or you're here with a bottle, it's actually
if you're Storm Spirit, just ridiculous.
You can actually just farm perpetually with that.
Fade. What's the one that gives you the Prism? I think the one that gives you increases their status or decreases their status resistance. Like it makes you Rubik kind of.
The Nether Shawl with the -4 armor.
No, that's -4 armor. No, there's one that makes it so that your spells last longer, your stuns last longer.
Oh, that's like a later one.
Yeah, it's like a tier 4 item. It's really cool though.
I haven't got many tier 4 or 5 items. All my games end in like 30.
Yeah, they don't last very long these days. I will tell you that.
You know what I'm finding, Henry, and you're gonna probably agree with this because I've played a few games with you where this happens. Maybe you won't agree with it, but I find that I'm really easily throwing games these days. Like if I die like once or twice in a stupid way, the enemy team takes like 2 outposts, and then it's impossible to come back because everybody's like 2 or 3 levels ahead because of like 1 or 2 deaths when I'm the important hero. I feel like games are really easy to throw. Like if a team gets an advantage, it's much harder to come back, I guess. That's at least like from what I've found in the past few days of pubs. Maybe I'm just throwing more.
I agree. I feel like it's easier to throw for sure.
Like if you have a lead, you just sit and wait until you get like 3 double outposts or something. Like you just wait and you'll eventually win.
Yeah, you just get a
But
bunch.
I do shit like I dive towers and I go for solo kills and shit like that, and I feel like that playstyle is getting really punished right now, which is sad for me. I've lost, man. I was 7,700 MMR, and in 2 days I'm down to 7,300. It's fucking rough.
Well, you know what they say, Jenkins.
What?
Easy come, easy go, man.
Not easy come. Very hard come, actually. The hardest come that I've ever had, man.
Well,
it's so hard to gain MMR.
I don't know if you want that.
I just been playing puck, man. I just feel so good. That hero.
Well, yeah. This is your patch, man. This is your patch. Can you give me any tips? I want to be a good puck player. What tips can you give? Maybe we should go for one of my replays of puck, and Henry can.
We should do that. That'd be fucking hilarious. People like that.
Honestly, puck is all about like. Just
little did you know, Henry, you signed yourself up for a coaching session with Jenkins.
Hey, man, I'll take it, dude.
That's the thing is like I have a hard time because people always ask me to make a puck guide, but for me it's like Puck is such an intuition hero. You know, it's really hard to actually.
Right.
I just
You're
have this. I just have this feeling for that. I can't.
You're
even
trying to like
explain.
waste as much of their time as possible, but in order to do that, you have to like debate yourself. And in
Yeah,
order to debate yourself, you need to know like all the mechanics like flawlessly.
just playing mid for all this time, like I have a really good understanding how much damage people do and how to like create kills or like situations out of like you know nothing. You know, like when
Yeah.
you're just casually doing nothing mid, if you're really good, you can kind of edge a little bit more and more and more
Can,
until you create a
can I
situation.
ask you something?
What?
Do you go the damage or do you go the silence cooldown talent?
Yeah, absolutely.
You
It's
do?
insane.
Okay.
It's insane.
Because I've seen people go the other one, and I feel like I don't remember what it's like. What is it? Is
It's
it
the
90?
John move speed or something like that,
Oh yeah, jaunt speed. Yeah, or no, speed
or the
on
orb speed.
the
Yeah.
orb. Yeah. So I've seen people go for that, and I feel like the silence cooldown. It gives
No, the
0.5
silence cooldown's
0.5
insane.
seconds downtime, right? Like that's
Yeah,
fucking
it's
crazy. You can silence and then coil and then silence again, or you can just Yules and then
I
silence.
could
Like,
see a hypothetical situation where maybe you're just split pushing all game and using the orb, but
or if you
that's
need more like reach, like if you really need to catch people from like far away, but you don't need disable like once you've caught people, some
Mhm.
shit like that. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, all right, I'll link you the replays, Donnie.
This
We
is
can-
so annoying. Trying to crop this for 2 people. Sorry, it's taking me forever.
It's a rough life for you, Donnie. It's really
Yeah,
rough.
always
I
having to
also
do the
think
production. Maybe if my
I played
business
against,
partner would do some work around here.
I played against Jubei a couple times, and he's first picking puck. By the way, that guy hit 8K, and now he's lower more than me.
Yeah,
This time
he's wild. He is. Let me check his MMR, or let me check
I
his.
think it's
rank
like
right now.
6,600. He's ranked 400 something, I think.
Yeah. Oh no,
He was
was
also
lower. He was
only
lower than
playing
that.
Marana for like 3
Yeah, he
months.
Marana his way to 8K. Yeah.
Like,
That's how
literally
you do
only
it, though.
Marana.
That's actually how you do it, man. Let me
That's how
tell
I'm
you.
gonna do it. I'm gonna puck my way to 8K. I just know it.
Seriously. Let me tell you, man. I've been playing with some Chinese North American players, and as you know, there's a lot of those players from that group in the top 50. A lot of Peruvian players in the top 50 from like the top Peruvian teams, and I have confirmation from some of these players that basically all of them are queuing with Smurfs to get to like 7.5k plus. Like unless you are somebody like CCNC or like Sumail, and even Sumail's like abusing. He's just queuing really late at night with Kitrak and owning divines. And
Yeah, I saw that.
listen, I'm not saying Sumail's bad. I'm not a fucking moron. You know, that guy's possibly the best player in North America. But he's abusing to get MMR. So you gotta play the game, man. You know, if you gotta puck your way to 8K, that's what you gotta do. Otherwise, you have to be a fucking
You
triple
want to be
TI winning player.
CCNC. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won against CCNC yesterday. I felt really good.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's a really good pub winner too.
Meanwhile, I'm over here just playing solo queue position 5. I'm like Goku with like
We can
all the
play.
weights
Let's
on.
abuse, Donnie. You can be my position 5. You'll be my divine, and I'll abuse.
All right, I'm down.
Let's do
Listen,
it
man,
sometime.
let me tell you, no offense, Donnie. I've tried that. I've tried a lot of things. I've tried queuing with divines, I've tried queuing with people higher rated than me that can carry me. There's the divine thing doesn't work. It really doesn't work.
I'm
No.
definitely better than most of the like high rated immortal
The thing is,
support players, though. I know that for a fact.
if you are a divine player, chances are you suck a lot more than you think you do. You're going to probably gain MMR by playing with a high rated player, and they will too, but it will be because you're getting better by playing with them. Like if you were to,
Go ahead.
I'm not
like,
disputing
if-
that, but I also just know for a fact that I just don't play enough games of Dota climb.
Yeah, I mean that's the
Sure,
thing.
sure.
Volume wise, like your execution is just not going to be on par with your knowledge if you don't actually play a shit ton of Dota. That's just how it's going to be for everybody, regardless of the level that's at.
I've queued with my girlfriend quite a bit.
She's really
playing
good.
PTs.
Are you?
No,
you
she's-
swear to God that wasn't you on her account.
She'll be glad that you thought it was me because yeah, no,
She talks just like you. She's like,
I'm gonna
legit,
be
word
honest,
up,
she
man.
was
you know?
super stoked. She was super stoked. She's like, he thought it was you, and that made her feel really good because she thinks I'm good, which I suck, but you know, she thinks I'm good, which is cool. But I think
She owns, but continue, yeah.
I think she's gotten a lot better from playing with me, not because I'm some sick like epic player or something, but because like as an offlaner, I know what I want my position 4 to do because it's my job to know that as an offlaner. And if she's queuing in solo queue, no position 3s are going to tell her like exactly what to do because there isn't that line of communication. But if
Yeah.
you're party queuing with a friend, then you're going to have that communication, and then you're just going to do that shit in the future. And if I'm a core and you're doing what I want in the game, you're playing a good support, because that's the job of a support, is to enable cores, right? Position 4 enables the offlaner. Position 5 enables the carry. Position 4 also kind of goes mid and stuff, like depending on the hero, depending on the. So I think like mid and pos 4 too, they can queue together, and that's pretty good because you can like combo together and shit. But
Yeah.
I think you probably will win, but it's not because of abusing. It's because of the lower rated player like getting better by osmosis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. All I know is that when I play with, like, you every time you queue, right, there's like a middle bracket, and then there's an upper bracket and a lower bracket that you can queue into, and you always get one of those three things, right? You either get a game with everybody your rank, or you get a game with most people higher ranked than you, or you get a game where most people are lower ranked than you. And every time I'm in the game with higher ranked people, it's so fucking easy because you just win them the lane. And I'm really good at winning people the lane because I play support well in the lane, and then we win the game. So
my like take on Dota has changed in the past few months, where I think that a good player is not, and this is not saying that you're not good, Donnie. I'm just saying like this is how I think in regards to my own games.
Yeah, whatever, man.
Because I have the same thing where like I'll lane against Brax and I'll beat him in lane, and it's like, okay, how, like, you know, not in a negative way, but I'm thinking like literally logically, what is it that he does that makes him a high ranked player? What is it that makes him better? Because I beat him in lane, and it's like, it's not that his cap is higher than mine. Maybe mine's higher, maybe it's lower, but it's about the same. It's that he's consistently in every single game having a good performance.
Yep.
Including if he gets games with divines.
Yep.
And I might fuck up in divine games. Like, being good at Dota is in any scenario, no matter who you're queuing with, no matter what situation you're in, you will have a good game. And it's about over a huge spectrum of different like samples, different games, you know?
Yeah,
so,
I agree. It's also about how fast you can react to the game that you're in. Like, exactly. That's really important, because like if I get queued into a bunch of ancients, I have to play the game completely different than if I'm queued with a bunch of immortals.
Right. Precisely. But Sumel would win one of these games with really low rated players, or maybe me or Henry would not, because it's like too much pressure on us, or we tilt, or whatever it is. That's like part of the game. So with that being said, if you are really good at winning with high rated players, then I would say literally do not queue unless you are playing with high rated players. Period. And that makes you better at the game, because you're gaming the system better, and that's
my new play is I'm only duo queuing. Like me and my friend Victor, Baby B Kid, like we just been winning. I think I have like 70% win rate.
That's Baby B Kid. Oh, that's who that is. Oh my god, he was tipping me. I thought it was somebody that hated me.
We've been winning. It's like 70% of our games, and like every day we're talking about mindset and how not to rage at the divine. Like we're focused on making our duo better, like by how we interact with our teammates.
Yo,
what position does he play? What position does he play?
He plays carry, so we do carry in mid.
Okay,
it takes like 12-15 minutes to get a game, but
sure.
We've been just focused, like every day we're like, let's not rage at the divines, you know, let's figure out how to talk.
This is good, man. Hit me up, man. I gotta get some of that free puck MMR that you're giving out right now. I don't know what Baby B Kid's paying you, but I'll fucking double it. I'll pay you the free puck fees. I got you, buddy.
No, whatever, man. We're giving him free exposure on our channel.
I actually have been shitting on people with puck. Like,
I know.
They pick TA, they pick Dragon Knight, they pick Tiny, and I still win the lane.
Let me tell you, dude. My first experience with you is you were puck mid, and I'm pretty sure I counterpicked you or something, and you just made me feel like such a bitch. Like I couldn't do anything. It was fucking awful. I was so mad. And that's I was like fuming mad, man. Just like, man, you're an asshole in that hero. Like there are some heroes that people just get, you know? Like when it's the patch for that hero, oof. That's when like
Alien Banana and TA, like he actually got to rank 50 when TA was really good.
Right. Jubei with Mirana. I mean, he's good at a lot of heroes, but he's really good at Mirana. I when Enchantress was good, that was the first time I ever got to 7K back when.
Yeah, I remember people talking about your Enchantress. Like,
yeah, that's good.
I remember people. I remember long time ago, people would be like, "Jenkins is fucking trash. All he can play is Enchantress and Broodmother." Like,
No, that's good. That's good when
long
people say, "Oh, all they can play is this," because that means they're admitting that that hero is good on that player.
Yep.
I remember Ritsu, who fucking hates me. He was saying like, "Oh, Jenkins is only good at Enchantress and Beastmaster," and I was learning Beastmaster at the time, and I was so stoked that he said that because I was like, "Dude, I'm learning Beast." So you saying that makes me think I'm doing good. Like,
dude,
that's amazing.
I
Thank you.
actually had a great experience where someone was like, I forget, someone good was like, Henry can only play Invoker. Back like Puck wasn't good at the time, so I was just playing Invoker.
Yeah.
And they were like, Henry would be nothing with Invoker. And I just had this thought in my mind that made me feel so badass. I was like, Invoker's not boosting my win rate. I'm boosting Invoker's win rate.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Invoker is good because of me.
Right,
Like,
right.
this year has a 45% win rate. I have a 70% win rate with it. I'm the one who's changing Invoker, not the other way around.
Yeah. Husky was like telling me a couple weeks ago that like Arteezy was complaining about his Chen and everybody's flaming him for just being a Chen picker. And I was just like, man, I'm playing against Chens in pubs. It's not that big of a deal. Like, it doesn't feel that bad. But if you have Arteezy who's fucking scared of your Chen, and I don't like playing against his Chen either. I was like, man, keep it up. Like, that's a good thing. Like, don't get dissuaded. When people start calling you a hero spammer, that's when you know like when people are getting mad at you for gaining MMR, that's when you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's really easy to let that hurt your mindset. And that's just such a wrong way to think about it, is to think about it negatively, because that's what they're trying to do, you know?
Yeah, usually what happens to me is I'll pick a hero and I'll win like 70% of my games with it over a week and a half, and then I'll be like, I'm bored of this hero, and then I'll just start picking stuff that's bad and trying to make it work, and then my win rate tanks.
So you have to have 2 accounts.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if you really want to get Immortal, Donnie, like, you just can't do that shit. Like, you have to actually have good, and not like, I'm gonna make a video. You know what? I actually haven't been in low priority in like 1,000 games. I have 0 low priority on this account since I got banned. I'm like actually reformed. And I was thinking, I'm just gonna make a video on some of the stuff that I've been doing that's kind of changed my.
Dude, that's a really good idea.
Because I really feel like a changed man. Like, I know that sounds preposterous, a little like
typical NA Dota player. It's like, oh, I'm reformed. Like a child on call. I really worked for him.
Reformed. So you click on their recent names. It's like Peruvians suck. Kill everybody.
It's so funny that I'm like renowned for being toxic, but like, if you can go to any random pro player and they've been in low priority more than me, you got more reports.
No, you're good. You're a good boy lately, honestly. Like, it's been a long time, I think. Since
I still trash talk. I still flame people, but the difference is like, I'm just not vicious anymore.
Yeah, like, that's the difference. Is like there's like, I mean, we've all been there. I'm glad I was at a point where like nobody knew who the fuck I was, because it would have been bad if you dig up some shit. But anyway, like. Sometimes you can just like be visceral, and you want to, but you want to like let it out, but it's always the wrong choice, you know? And it's like at a certain point you just get older and you're like, what's the point? And then
you're still doing it, and then you're like, what am I doing with my life?
No, you're still doing it, Donnie. I haven't like viscerally flamed somebody in
I just go after the people that are like flaming other people, because it just pisses me off.
That's the worst. I used to do that too, but here's the thing: they just both turn around and then report you.
Exactly. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I can't help it sometimes. I'm just like, why are you being a huge piece of shit? Or like the people who call it GG easy, like they're like the mid players or the carries who give up at like 5 minutes. I'm just like, why don't you just run down mid, you fucking pussy? And then they do, and then I'm like, oh.
Calling them a pussy. That always works. All right. Lucas Peterson says, we watching replays eventually. Yeah, we can start doing that now. Maybe we should timestamp right exactly when we start doing the actual replay analysis.
I always do that, man.
Cool, awesome. You're such a G, Donnie.
I know.
A nice looking room, Henry, by the way. This looks really clean.
It's all right. I'm moving out soon, so.
Are you? Do you have roommates?
Nope. I mean, I still live at home, but my new place, no.
Oh, I see. Nice.
All right.
Actually, looks clean. Why do you have such little stuff?
I honestly am not a stuff person. Like, I legit don't own anything.
We're starting the replay review.
This is all I have.
I own my clothes, my desk, and my computer. That's literally all I own. I don't have a poster. I don't have a knick-knack.
Hey, that's not a knick-knack.
I don't own a sheep. I don't own a sheep.
How dare you call called Billy a fucking
Is that his
knick-knack.
name? Did you just name him Billy right now?
I did not just make that up on the spot. No, his name's
Okay.
Billy, and it's not because I thought of goats and Billy goats. His name was Billy before. He has a little penis under there. Isn't that weird? They put a penis on like a.
What?
He has a penis. I'm telling you, he's got a big cock. Billy's got a big cock.
How do you
Alright.
beat Huskar at middle? Don't play against him. Push the wave out and avoid him.
Like
You just gotta out trade him. Like honestly, if you're playing against Huskar and you're something like Invoker, you honestly just have to get like 2 hits for everyone and kind of play the like margin of error where you don't let him build stacks. You like keep him half HP and keep yourself kind of like 75%. You know, you got to play that window where like he can't actually play aggressive on you. But like,
this is cool.
You can't be too aggressive because if you lend yourself towards being too aggressive, you throw your lane. So it's more about setting the precedent that you are the person who controls the lane, and then like building that as your leverage, as opposed to actually winning the lane by virtue of like an arbitrage of aggression.
So what you're saying is don't be a pussy.
Kind of, but it's more like holding your ground through small trades as opposed to like actually playing aggressive. Because if you actually play aggressive, he's going to win basically any trade. But if you hold your ground through small trades, you can win versus Huskars.
That's basically the answer.
You basically send out like a million salves and don't let him bully you.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to salve against Huskar, honestly.
That's also the answer against any hard lane is to take micro trades instead of just trying to like run at them.
Yeah. A lot of heroes like Huskar, and there's a couple other I go Fairy Fire against. Like I don't usually buy Fairy Fire that much anymore, but I remember playing Puck against. I'm trying to look for my game actually the matchup, but I played Puck against some hero, and I was like, you know what? I'm buying a Fairy Fire because I just know that's gonna be what wins me the lane. I don't remember what hero it was actually. Maybe Necrophos or some shit. Oh, it was Bloodseeker. It was Invoker versus Bloodseeker, and I think it was actually Charismatic on the Bloodseeker. And I was like, if I'm against a hero that I just know is going to want to man up and dive me, sometimes I like divvy up my item build. I'm just like, I'm going to buy a Fairy Fire.
Yeah.
It's much more expensive and it's more difficult to buy now, but...
That's for the matchup, though. Like, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That's literally how you become a high-rated player, is like abusing all these little micro
consciously,
things.
like thinking about this kind of stuff.
I played Puck versus some like rank 70 anti-mage or something, and he picked AM as like a Puck counter. And I built a Blightstone, and I just went like full like physical trading items and just the living shit out of him in lane, and he couldn't deal with it. And I think if I went for like the regular Bassi build and tried to harass with the orb, it's like
you wouldn't have done enough damage.
Yeah, that's like what he's playing into, right? Like that's why he picked anti-mage, is to like counter
this is how you get good at Dota, is like you have to actually think of stuff and then apply it and then see if it works, which we've talked a lot about Jenkins in the past. Like I remember being not as good as I am now. I remember playing offlane Puck against anti-mage. I was like, I'm just gonna go 6 mangoes and just try that, and it was terrible. It was really bad.
Now you're just always taking extra damage against.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. But like, I was like, okay, well, then what is the opposite of that?
Right.
Yeah.
And totally. Then I did similar to what you did, and it worked.
The Blightstone works really well because Puck has high base damage.
And he's a good attack animation, and because of phase shift, you're trading. You can always get one hit over the other hero. By the way, go ahead.
You go.
I was gonna say, by the way, that level 10 talent that everyone's getting, trash. Don't get that talent.
Which one?
The attack talent.
Oh no, I don't go that. No way. No, I go cast range every time.
I've been seeing like Jube's been going because he's the only I played against him like 4 times and he stole my Puck every game. So he's going
really good on 5, man. It's a
he's going the attack talent, and I think the cast range is just nuts. Like the silence,
especially now that you can jump with Waning Rift.
Exactly.
With the Waning Rift, it's just nuts. That cast range is actually insane.
All right. One final note on the like the micro builds thing. So I was like just playing on a team and we were scrimming like tier 1 teams, right? So they would take these like little advantages, and then they'd send out like a bracer in the lane, and there were these lanes where we would play it and practice, and like one lane would stomp the other lane, but because like this really good team took like a trade that got them like an earlier bracer, like one item can actually make or break a lane, like one single small item, one single small trade. So that's why like going for Dota's balanced like that. It's balanced very well. So going for like a Blightstone and Puck is literally the difference maker. And like you get owned in this game and lose to Anti-Mage, or Anti-Mage has no game at all. Like that's it. Dota's so fucking insanely snowbally. Yeah. And it's that's why, like, man, if you aren't using the courier these days to send out bracers and wraith bands and stuff, do it. You're gonna win games because people aren't doing that enough right now, and it's so game winning.
The thing is, one bracer on like a 700 HP hero is like what, like a 20% increase in their overall health, which is insane. That's why little stat items are so good right now.
Yep.
I the way I view it is like the analogy that works in my mind is like you're on a boat and like if you have like one little hole, then you're trying to get the water out of that hole, and then like it just takes all of your energy. So like if you do one thing that doesn't work and is wrong, like the amount of effort that's concerted that you have to fix that, like if you don't go the Blightstone and Puck, that's just gonna fuck up the next like 5 minutes, and then before you know it, it gets worse and worse and worse. And that's why being ahead and conscious of how you're gonna play is how you get really good.
It feels so much easier to play from ahead, honestly.
Yep.
Anyway,
all right.
So our boy said this is an Ember Spirit mid game. This is from Kurai Senshi. I did recently. Kurai Senshi.
You non-weeb piece of shit.
Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to talk. I did decently during the laning stage and early stages, but managed to secure a couple of kills throughout the mid game. However, my teammates were really inefficient, and my safe laner was utter trash. How do you advise I proceed against this sort of lineup, and what to do against many ratting heroes?
First of all, stop referring to your teammates as trash, because if you write off this game as a loss because your safe laner was trash, then you've already lost the game.
Yeah. The question is like, would Sumail win this game? And I think
the answer is yes.
I think the answer is yes. Sumail plays with trash teammates all the time. Like we were just talking about that. He was really late at night, like specifically to get trash teammates. Because guess what? If you have trash teammates, there's going to be trash enemies on the enemy team that you can be abusing as well. So just go kill the idiots if you're right about this.
This is Guardian bracket, by the way.
And honestly, having the perspective, like what can your teammates do for you to win the game, as opposed to what your teammates are going to do to make you lose your game, like just changing that perspective is really valuable. It's been really valuable for me.
Yep.
To change it from what to what? To change it from
how can my teammates lose me the game to how can I win the game with my teammates?
Okay, I see.
Right. Like
what can they do right versus what they're gonna do wrong?
Right. Yeah, instead of my carry can't do anything right, all my carry has to do is hit one stun and we can kill this person, right? Like just changing that much perspective.
Right. So you'll come up with actual plans.
Yeah, you'll just look for that one thing. It's like, okay, if this idiot somehow does figure out how to press the stun button on this one hero, then I can go in and kill it. And if it never happens, then you just never go in and kill that hero and you do something else, right? Like that's basically how you approach the game.
So I'm not an Ember mid player, but if I recall correctly, you're supposed to just press Flame Guard and push the first wave, right, and get a level advantage. So that's like step number one, is that you're playing against this like hero who's probably going to dominate you in lane, and you didn't push the first wave and get an advantage. And Ogre can't push the wave, so why not just get level 2 first and take that level advantage and convert it into like a very easy lane?
Yeah, and on the flip side, it's kind of like a tug of war, right? So you push the wave with the Flame Guard, and then if like you still have this wave on your high ground, you pull the other creeps into your tower so that you get that level 3 faster, and then now you push this wave, is what you would do.
Yeah, like you kind of don't want it to be static when you're. I mean, Ember doesn't really like win any lane. He just kind of washes.
Yeah.
He just does okay until he gets to the point where he can like kill you or your teammates, which is fine because that's like the whole point of the hero. But Flame Guard is the way that you enable that.
Right.
So unless you're absolutely sure that you're gonna like dumpster this ogre, I would say also that is some wacky ass camera positioning.
I was just about to say, like the camera is incredibly static right now. It's just been planted in this area.
Ogre is standing in your minimap. That is some camera grip action that you want to use there. Okay, although I don't think our boy had that many questions about the laning stage, but definitely room for improvement.
Yeah.
Here.
All right, let's go into the mid game then.
Okay.
Keep the stuff rolling because we preambled for a long time. We've got several replays to get to.
So let's see items. You guys going for like a Battle Fury build?
I guess we can go back to before this fight starts. Yep. So
still in the mid lane though. That's one concerning thing. Is just like going to 20 minutes and you're still like sitting mid and none of the outer towers are taken.
Yeah. Also, let's look at the fact that you have a salve in your inventory with full health, while you also have an ocean heart in your backpack. You also have a ring of health in your inventory with an empty bottle, so you could boost your HP regen by like 12 almost or something like that, just by putting those into your inventory, which is really good for fighting.
Good slot management is like a core part to Dota now with these items.
Yeah.
Like it's really triggering me because this even happens. This happens in like Immortal bracket where somebody will just be sitting on like 3 neutral items in their backpack, and it's like you realize that's tens of thousands of gold possibly, depending on the tier of item, that's not being utilized. If that was traditional items and not jungle items, people wouldn't think anything of it. But or people would never do that.
People
what I meant to say.
would flame the shit out of you if you
You'd
had like
get flamed,
a
yeah.
Battle Fury in your backpack or something.
Yeah,
like
they'd
that.
be like, I mean, you'd be called Herald, right?
Yeah.
You'd be called Herald. But with the jungle items, like people seem to be way more okay with just letting shit sit in there. Like if you don't need something, send the courier, put it to Fountain. Like get that to your teammates as soon as possible because it can win them their lane or it can get them a kill or give them mana regen so they don't have to go back to base. There's so much you can do with these items, so it's a big waste to
Pause it here. So not to interrupt you, sorry.
No,
The two main points that I like to talk about are one, you definitely I'm not feeling the Battle Fury. I just think it's an outdated build and it's a little redundant with already having this jug. I think having like a Maelstrom and I just think Maelstrom's just superior and easier to build. The other thing,
the same thing too.
they have a bunch of high armor heroes. The other thing is like you have to think about what you can do that the enemy team can't do, and like the strengths of your hero in this game. So they have a Prophet who's just going to be like split pushing or attempting to. So you kind of can counter that the whole game. They're just superior at deep pushing than he is at pushing. So your play is to mostly just shove these waves. And then the other thing that you have to think about on heroes like this is who actually can kill me. So the only 2 or 3 heroes that can kill you are Ogre, Rubik, and Centaur. And most likely Rubik, because he's the only one with a leading stun that has a decent cast point. Which means if you see Rubik farming the jungle, which you haven't looked at him, he's on your map. So that's the first thing that you have to start like creating a behavior of, is actually looking at people. Because if you actually looked at this Rubik on the map, you'd see he has 200 HP and he's never coming bottom. He's just jungling with that. So your job right now
physically
is
move your camera. Sorry to interrupt, but physically move your camera over here. Check what he has.
What items he has. So he has a blink. Like that's really important to know that their leading most efficient cast point stun has a blink on the hero. Like that's really important for you to know as an Ember. And then you have to think about like what's your actual job. For the past 10 minutes, your actual job has been to farm where other heroes can't farm based on the point that you can't really die to the enemy team. Like without their blinks, it's extremely, extremely hard to kill you. And even with their blinks, it probably takes 3 heroes, Ogre, Centaur, and Rubik to chain stun you. Otherwise, they actually can't kill you. So when they're showing Ogre and Rubik on the map, and Rubik has 200 HP, like you should be at this beyond this tower bottom. Like,
you can literally play here, and nothing's gonna happen to you.
You can just push this tower. And the reason you do this is because this is like what people don't understand. The reason these lower MR games last like double the length of Immortal games and people have way less farm is because you're not actually like applying any pressure or building any leverage on this map at all. Like you push out a creep wave, you go jungle. You push out a creep wave, you go jungle. You're not actually like forcing a rotation bottom and then looking for an opportunity to punch the TP bottom by playing in the top half of the map is like a good place to start for a hero like Ember Spirit. Like if you can force rotations and then convince your team, which does work. I don't want to hear low MR players saying it doesn't work because I played 500 games in Escaping the Trench on my YouTube channel on lower MR games, Guardian, Crusader, Legend, Archon. Yep. I know that you can convince your team to fight somewhere a lot of the time. Sure, it's not 100% of the time. So if you can force a rotation bottom, like say you force Rubik and Ogre TP, and then all of a sudden you guys get top outpost, top tower. You can go cut through to the where the old triangle was. I don't know what you call it anymore because the ancients aren't there. And then you can place wards, and then you can cut mid and top. This is how you actually gain a large portion of the map to control and play on. And that's how you actually win games. It's not farm, it's not items, it's actually controlling the map and having like more leverage and more area to play on and more opportunities to kill and more vision. This is how you like actually construct winning situations as a hero like Ember Spirit.
Yeah, and through that map control that you're like asserting pressure on, your CS will be 150, it'll be 180, and your jug CS will be 130 as well. Exactly.
There's more space for them to farm too.
Exactly. Like right now, I guarantee this game you've probably taken like half the farm away from your Juggernaut and your other core, the Snapfire, because you've just been farming safe stuff in your side of the map. And that's very obvious to us just by looking at the minimap because none of the towers have died.
And I do think also that in this bracket, people are so bad at managing their TPs and managing creep waves that if you focus on getting really good at just playing in lanes and pushing waves, you'll have like a 70-80% win rate because people are. I've learned this even playing in Immortal with Nature's Prophet is with that here, it's a little more frustrating for people because I would literally TP into their tier 4s and like, siege with Meteor Hammer and like ridiculous shit like that. But I get people TPing all over the map, just wasting their time. All of a sudden, they're all trapped in their base, and we have this massive advantage. And I'm like 1 in 21 feeding, but it doesn't matter because they're wasting so much time dealing with me.
That your entire team is farmed as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not because it's necessarily that good. Like, I think Nature's is a great hero right now, and it was good, but it wasn't that good. It's just because people, even in Immortal, they suck dick at managing their TPs because they're not communicating with each other.
Yeah.
They're not talking about, oh, who has a TP up right now? They're all just TPing in to respond to one guy pushing, and then they lose off of that. One time that needs to happen, and they can lose.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We can go next. I think.
Exactly. Yeah. Next one. We gave a very important part of how you can get better at this game.
The next one is Clockwork offlane, but I have to refill my tea, so I'll be back in 1 second.
I think Clockwork's an interesting hero. I'm not sure where exactly the hero's at, but I know it's being picked more and people are trying it out.
Yeah, people want it to work because it hasn't been good for so long.
It's better, but it's still very hard to make work.
Yeah, he just doesn't do anything if you're not having a very good game and your team wants to fight. Like if you have like a Naga on your team and like some slow mid and you're picking Clockwork, you're just like, why? Why am I playing this hero right now? You need to like snowball. You can't push waves. Like I feel like he's got to be reasonably good at this point because of how important outposts are. Like if you're attacking an enemy outpost, having Clockwork is super overpowered because of the flying vision from Rocket.
Yeah. I think the vision's good. The spells are good. I just think the hero itself, the laning phase, it's just really hard to Clockwork.
Which hero?
Clock.
Oh, well, that's a garbage hero, man. Honestly. I've had so many worthless Clock off lanes, and I play Clock off lane, and it's like 50 minutes into the game. My position 5 is 5 levels higher than me, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? Jungle? Like, how does this hero get levels? It's so snowbally. That's the problem. It's really snowbally.
That's what I was just saying.
And as a position 3, you're not getting like priority pick anyway, so you're not gonna snowball most of the time unless the enemy team fucks up monumentally. So it feels pretty bad to pick, especially in pubs. It probably has a place in competitive with like some position 4 that can scale really well, and when you trust your position 4. But in pubs, man, I would avoid this hero.
I feel like it can only be a 4 in pubs because like at least then you can like run around with boots start or something like that.
I agree.
I like his starting items at least.
Yeah, these are good. These are solid. Lots of regen. Offlaners these days are like wave clearing travels builders. Like, they apply an insane amount of pressure. Like you got to look out for these motherfuckers. Just being so annoying across the map. Clock is not that hero, sadly.
Agreed.
I love Clock, man. This is one of my favorite heroes in Dota. Don't get me wrong. I've like over 300 Clock games, but
just really hard to make work. It's like one of those heroes where, sure, in the perfect Clock game where you make like under 3 mistakes, you might feel like a god on the hero because you play perfectly, but if your entire win condition is play perfectly or lose, you're just never gonna have a good time.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent Clock game though. Honestly, it's not great against like tiny. Well, okay, maybe it's not a good Clock game because Nature's people are always like, oh, Nature's or Clockwork counters Nature's Prophet. No, other way around. If you put the trees on Clockwork, 100% of the time it knocks the person out of cogs and leaves the clock in the cogs. Or you can do it the opposite way.
Wait, if you sprout the clock in the cogs?
If you sprout the clock, it knocks the other person out of cogs and keeps the clock in the cogs.
Didn't know that.
100% of the time.
It's really easy to make his Q useless by having a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
Sap the damage.
Tiny can toss you. You can't really get through the Vena wards. Pango can jump out of cogs. Death Prophet is really the only hero that I think Clock is excellent against in this game.
Yeah,
so
I think it's pretty good. You have to, like, when you're playing a hero like Clock, you have to think about animations. I think is really important. Like Shadow Shaman, Brewmaster, Earthshaker, heroes that you can just make it so they can't use spells to hero by being on top of them. It's very.
All right, what were the questions? Did you guys read the questions that he asked? Or
no, I'll read it for you.
Okay.
So he says, kind of thoughtless game for me. I feel that myself get a bit too affected by Pugna calling me subhuman after I missed a hook and my decision making kind of went empty. I thought graves were a good idea, but looking back, I feel like the item's too expensive for Clock since he doesn't get very much farm to buy early, and I need 4 staff or maybe just blade mail and bracers.
I actually think you can get a decent amount of farm on clock just by rocketing creeps the whole game. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing that you
like
need
cross
to
map rockets and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
You need to know where the creeps are going to be, and any creep wave that's like unattended for, you have to be rocking that. That's how you farm this clock for the most part.
The shitty thing about that, like I agree with that, and I try to do that on clock. But what feels really bad about that is you don't get the XP for the creeps that die.
True.
So you're just like shoving out a lane and having XP go to like nothing. And if you know that's like a wasted resource.
Yeah.
When like a lot of these other offlaners are like heroes that can easily play in like a dead area, you know, and so they can get not only get the gold from there but the XP from there too. So
I wanted
not
to ask,
shit on clock too much. Not I love the hero.
how do you feel about not having a quelling blade to start?
I honestly think it's okay. Like it depends on the lane. I would say that in this particular situation, I would just want to get my farm. But if you're a hero that knows that you're gonna secure creeps and you don't need the quelling blade, like you've just completely a lane dominating lane, then you don't need a QB. But if you don't have a lane that you're 100% certain that you're gonna win, you need a QB because the QB is like the whole laning phase is about securing access to the creeps, right? Not about kills. That doesn't matter. It's just the creeps. So I think QB is definitely the item I would go in this game, unless you're like like I said, a ranged hero or a hero that definitely doesn't need one.
So for a friend on the clockwork, the item you should be rushing in this game is definitely Spirit Vessel, not what is it, Mechanism you're buying with the headdress? Yeah. If you get an Urn, super good value, mana regen, it's just a great item to have on clockwork. And then obviously Spirit Vessel really limits the healing from Death Prophet, which is very, very good.
Yeah, you got Spirit Vessel Blade Mail, I think, right?
Or
it's a good damage item.
Yeah.
I definitely think Spirit Vessel is way better than Blade Mail because your HP pool is going to be too low. Your like sustain is going to be too low to use a blade mail. I just think maybe second item blade mail, yeah, but
that's what I was thinking.
I go two bracer blade mail. That's what I see. The few offlane clocks that I have seen, like I've seen Cuckoo.
Who's blade mail even good against?
Death Prophet.
Death Prophet, Veno, Tiny.
I don't know. I think I kind of disagree with that.
I think it's only good against DP.
I definitely don't think it's good against Tiny because if he actually like does a combo, you're not gonna get the blade mail off before taking damage, and it's really easy for these heroes to just not attack you. Like I think blade mail is good against damage that is like unavoidable.
Right, gyro.
You don't think Veno's unavoidable damage?
Yeah, but it's so slow. It's DOT. You're not blade mailing that. What do you mean? Get back to him 50 damage?
No, it does way more than that.
Well, yeah, but blade mail's percentage based.
It's also like a preventative thing. Like you go in and you like hook in and you blade mail, and then they like can't cast spells on you.
I'm telling you, if I'm Veno, I'm literally just using all my spells on a blade mail because it's just not going to do much damage to me.
Because the blade mail will run out. I think the whole thing about this is the fact that we're arguing about whether blade mail is a good item or not means that this is just a shit clock game in general. Because
that's true.
If your playstyle revolves around going in and taking damage, which clock does, and the fact that we can't figure out whether it's even a good game for blade mail, it's like okay, this game is shit.
Most of the time that I've seen people picking the clockwork hero, it's like they're against a gyro and they like rush blade mail and they just hook the gyro every fight and just
but that's like the thing is gyro either does nothing or kills himself to blade mail. I don't think that applies to any of Radiant heroes.
I think DP, but
I think DP will use himself like if you're actually on him with a blade mail.
That's a good point actually.
What?
DP always goes Yules, and so you just kind of you just always build a
then
counter.
You're forcing the DP to like Yules herself in the like no matter what, there's gonna be items you can buy to counter other items. Like you can also use a spirit vessel off of yourself.
Well, yeah, but one of the things I think is like if a hero naturally builds.
Anyway, this hero sucks. This hero sucks in this game.
If a hero naturally builds an item like as one of their first couple of items, then items against them that are countered by that item are kind of lower value. Like if we're being honest about it.
That's true. That's fair. That's fair. That's
my two drafting advices for this clockwork player. One, have offlaners that are really good in a vast majority of games that you like to play, and then two, if you do like to play hero like Clock, Puck is one of them. If you do like to play hero like Clock, know specifically what you are very good against.
Yep.
Like Shaman, like Brewmaster, like Gyrocopter, like Earthshaker. Just know what you're good against. And the reason being for those is you're good against the cast animations, it's a good blade mail game, things like this. Or like the POV you want to have as a clockwork.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, somebody in chat says just press blade mail after Yules. Gosh, That's not how it works. Like the DP is gonna hold the Yules until Blade Mail comes out.
I mean, I'm just gonna say,
Right.
I think I want to go back to the point of if you are picking Clockwork and it is a bad Blade Mail game, it's probably not a good Clockwork game because you can just go Veno and get Spirit Vessel.
Yep.
You know, like
Agreed.
and then you have a way better hero that's doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that we're thinking about with Clockwork is like the hero is not designed to play how an offlaner has played for the past
currently.
7 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It's unfortunate.
It's designed to play how offlaners played like 4 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which just isn't relevant. Like right now, an offlaner controls a large portion of the map, plays in dead areas,
they farm a
split
lot.
pushes, farms, and Clockwork doesn't do any of those.
What do you think about Clock 5?
No. Questions. The game was actually somewhat.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just trying to see if there's any way that this hero
after
makes any
buying
sense.
Arcades and Mac Donnie was the upgrade to Greaves. No, we already talked about that. How to play from behind with Clockwork against groove up heroes. You can't. That hero.
It's a really bad hero playing.
We actually talked about that. That's one of the reasons this hero's dog shit as a core is because there's nothing to do from behind other than become a support.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard to get levels. It's extremely hard to stay in the game. Your whole entire design is throwing your body at somebody, and if you don't have,
you feed. That's how you do.
Just feed.
You just feed. You're just a body, and you feed, and you become a 5. Any major mistakes in decision making? Don't pick Clockwork.
Yeah, we're going to the next replay. We've already covered this one enough.
Okay.
I mean, it's literally as simple as that. This is a terrible game, and so the best advice we can give you to gain MMR is to not play that hero in that game.
I know we're like harping on it a lot and like tangenting a lot, and the reason for that is because if you are an immortal player, chances are you got there. A lot of it is due to drafting. Like, honestly, Dota is so much more due to drafting. Sometimes people I'm coaching and they're like, "What could I have done in this game?" And I'm like, "Fuck all, man. Like, you shouldn't be in this game right now. You shouldn't be in this situation. What do I do playing 25k behind? You shouldn't be 25k behind. I don't care what you do when you're behind. You shouldn't have fed the laning stage because you didn't pull a single time. You know, like you always want to go to the root of the problem. And I think that the root of this problem is just the hero. And if you do want to play it like Henry, like Henry said, make sure you're picking in the right game if you do want to play it.
Yep, like this game, wonderful Clockwork game. You got Pudge, you got Sniper, like 2 heroes that you can kill. Or on the other side, you got the Tree, you got the Earthshaker. Way better Clockwork game, this one.
I still don't think this is that great of a Clockwork game.
No, but it's way better than the last one, which means that the last one was awful. All right, so this one says, played Void Spirit 5. First of all right, let's move on to the next one. Next replay. Slark complained about me being AFK. I wasn't. I'm sure you probably actually were because you're playing Void Spirit 5. So I doubt you contributed anything in the lane at all.
What do you do is the lane is one thing, but what do you do as a Void Spirit 5 in the game? Like, what do you do?
You set up with a skill shot.
No, excuse me, sirs. You deny the enemy team the Void Spirit pick. That's what you do.
Fair enough.
That's Void Spirit 5.
Drafting. We're talking about drafting. That's 200 IQ drafting right there.
It is for sure.
Fuck that hero.
It's so fun to play. Oh my god.
You know what's dumb? You know what's really dumb to me? It's getting nerfed. More and more games are being played of this hero, and the win rate is going up. It's at a 60% win rate in pro level pubs, and
the reason it's going up is because people are starting to learn how to play it.
People are like, exactly. "Oh, I just build defensive items, and then I cannot die ever."
Yeah. I remember when I first started seeing it, everyone was rushing like Kaya and Bloodstone and dumb shit, and as soon as I started seeing it off lane and mid, just rushing pipe or whatever, it started to get
Jules, Lotus Orbs, all of this shit, and you're just unkillable. But for some reason, you still do insane amounts of damage. Like, what the? Have you seen the Yules into instant Q combo? It's 100%.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed.
It's amazing. I put that out when this hero first came out. I was like, this is how you play this hero. This is the combo. You go Yules, you dash forward to catch them if they're far away, then you Yules them, then you Q them, then you W and explode when the Q is running out, and then you fucking finish them off with another slash in your E. And no hero can stop that from happening. It's not possible.
And they just dash out if the enemy team TPs.
They just need, I think they need to nerf the shield. It's the biggest thing. Like the shield, the fact that it does so much damage and shields you and has a damage talent.
They need to get rid of the damage talent. That's way too much. And
all right.
if they nerf Astral Step, like make it one charge or something like that, this hero's unplayable. Like he has to have 2 charges of that, otherwise
I have
he's
a
not
question
playable.
in this game. Why do you have a stick?
I was about to ask. Yeah, I was about to ask. You don't even know you're laning in Zeus, and even if you are, you can fly that out.
What enemy hero
Well,
is
Zeus is
gonna
going to be
be?
mid, obviously, right?
It's just Zeus.
It's just a really inefficient gold usage. It's better spent on. I honestly, if I'm gonna play Void Spirit 5, which I don't advise, I'd start with a buckler.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Especially knowing I'm either against Windrunner or I don't know what the hell other this lane could be. Honestly, the picks are very strange for the enemy team, but like the buckler is going to be very, very useful.
man. This is a dual melee lane versus a Wind Ranger and an Earthshaker who has AoE disable. I
Yeah.
would say your job in this lane is to never go to the lane and steal your Slark's XP
Yep.
and just pull. Just
only
pull
pull.
constantly.
Yep, I agree.
Because yeah, this
For the-
I think
for-
on the first wave,
The
what I
first
would've
45 seconds is just like run at the Wind Ranger and just trade it there.
run at the Wind Ranger, secure the range creep with my E, which is what I would have started with.
Yep.
And then after that, pull the wave.
Yep.
Like I honestly would push the first wave, kill the range
I was
creep,
gonna
pressure
say
the Wind
that.
Ranger, and
I
then
agree.
pull.
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
That's how you
I think
approach difficult laning situations like this.
right, exactly. Push the first wave with the E because the E also lets you trade because it
Mhm,
soaks like
mhm.
a little bit of damage. So
Yep.
if you're gonna do this, you definitely want to do that. That's what I've been doing with offlane Void Spirit. Is just push pull push pull push pull,
Mhm,
Yep.
yeah.
and then I'm 2 levels ahead of them, and I'm a Void Spirit, and I basically have core like mid core farm
Yep.
because they can't push like I can. You know.
But how do you guys feel about Snapfire, by the way? We didn't talk about that.
I
know we're
love
watching
that
this
hero.
game.
I think
It's-
that hero's
It's
really
also
fun.
very, very strong. It's just not the same capacity for being.
No, but it's a much
ridiculous
better
as this-
support. I'd rather run a Snapfire 5 than a Void Spirit. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
support, yeah, of course. But I'm just saying in terms of the 2 new heroes, which you think is better, Void Spirit or Snapfire?
Void Spirit just has more ability to win games, I think, but Snapfire she does too much damage, like
I
way
think
too much
Snapfire
damage.
is underutilized. I think
I
that
agree.
Yeah, I agree.
hero is also really good, and people just
Yes.
I think after balancing a little bit more, Void Spirit's going to see a lot less play after a couple more nerfs, and Snapfire is going to be legitimately really good for a long time.
Snapfire
my
will
theory.
be 100% a Captain's Mode pick as soon as it's introduced to Captain's Mode.
Yeah.
Unless they completely got the hero, but I don't foresee that happening. Like, now that you can sleep into Vacuum, into Disruptor Ultimate, if you have a Snapfire on top of that, it's like team fights are over. You can't do anything.
whoa. How did this guy die?
He
let's
just
go back up.
honestly took 1,000,000 damage and didn't have any regen the Slark.
He just doesn't have regen. He's just getting poked.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
just-
yeah, he just stood there and tried to last it and just got owned. I don't know. Guys, this is something for you lower MR players. You have a courier now. Just buy more regen.
Yep.
Literally, like, speaking of our Void Spirit, just buy more regen, buddy. Buy
Yep.
tangos and a salve. This is called preemptive regen. You buy the salve for now and the tangos for later. Bam, you have regen. Just buy it.
Yeah.
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 I think if you watch any competitive game right now, you'll notice those little dots on the map are moving constantly, man. Like
Mhm.
people are going to the offlane as Puck. They go what's it called? Basilius, Branch, and then they go one Tango. Is that enough regen for the lane? Fuck no. But the
But they
courier
just- yeah.
is constantly sending out. Every single lane is the mid lane now. Even if you're a support, you are a pre 7.23 mid laner. Send 2 salves before you need either of them. Send clarities, send bracers, send anything that's going to help you win your lane. Because if you do that and the enemy team doesn't, they are going to lose hard. So you're forced to do it. That's a prisoner's dilemma. You fucking have to do it or you
Yep.
lose.
Yep. Envy literally went to safe lane with 0 regen. He went Buckler, Quelling Blade in a game today.
Yeah, I'm
in a
seeing
pro
that
game.
more, yeah.
Buckler, Quelling Blade, and then he immediately sent out Tangos and Salves after the bounty runes were picked up.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
smart.
seeing that more and
That's
more.
really
Yeah. I'm
smart.
seeing that more and more.
That probably should be how every lane is played, which makes Nature's Prophet a really good hero.
Dude,
Because you
one
kill the
hero-
couriers. Dude, the courier shit is... I'm telling you right now, quote me on this, it will be 6 months to a year before couriers are not killable anymore. Quote me on that. I'll bet you guys money. I'll put money
All
on it.
right, timestamp. Henry Dota, Dota.
You know what's kind of
Buy-
interesting is
By TI-10, couriers will not be killable, or right after TI-10.
yeah,
TI-10's
I could see that being the case.
because Han went literally this exact route.
Yep.
Step by step.
Yep.
They went this exact route, and
At this
Iceball
point,
also
though,
worked
like-
on Han.
Why are there couriers then?
Yeah,
Like,
just
what's
have the lull shop where you can just buy any.
The
item
reason
from
couriers
wherever.
still the reason that is because they're just transitioning us over time. It's like where you slowly
see.
brainwash someone.
I
Okay.
see.
If they just got rid of couriers today, people would be
I thought
hella
it was. I thought it was some like mechanical thing, but you're going with like the conspiracy.
It's
I
not
li-
conspiracy.
I like it, man.
It's
I
not,
like it.
it's a little bit conspiracy, but like
Dude,
I'm
we gotta
telling you,
have
they
Henry
have
on
a
this more often.
they have a vision for how they want the game to be. But if they just did insane shit right off the bat, like imagine they just removed TP scrolls. They're like, now you can just TP to your base for free. People be like, why the fuck are they doing this? So what did they do? They made you start with 3. Next they're gonna make you start with 5. They're gonna lower the cooldown. Before you know it, you can just TP whenever you want.
Yeah, they're just gonna give you a TP spell. I mean, for real. And then
That's
okay,
fair, that's
everybody's buying Blink Dagger. Soon you're just gonna have a flash on a cooldown.
Can I just say
And then
something?
and then they're gonna buy out Riot and merge the 2 games and have the biggest esport in the world.
This reminds me,
Mark
those
my
level
words.
25 couriers, I've never seen anybody use the 25 couriers, and I've never seen the last tier of items.
Yeah,
Not
me neither.
once have I seen those. Although I do have to say, in one game, I was Lashrak, and I set up my stun with a level 25 clumsy net on my courier.
That's
And
nice.
that is the only time that I've seen it used, was when I used it, and I was specifically using it ironically. I was like, guys, I'm gonna get this guy with my fucking courier. I had like a 30k gold lead. That's the only
I had a
time.
pipe on my courier. That was one of my games.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It's
smart.
like in the past, like I would just sell a pipe, and if I have a BKB, but now it's like you almost don't want to sell utility items ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just put them on your courier and use them later.
Or like
I use it to
shovels, like
ward
philosopher's
occasionally.
stones.
But I still almost don't use it to ward. I'm just like, I can just run there with my hero. And then I'm like, wait, I could run there with my courier and not feed my hero. But then I'm like, but I lose my courier. So
Wait. Do you still get the GPM if you have a Philosopher's Stone on the courier?
Yes, at level 25.
Yeah.
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 That's nuts.
So you just have a 60 GPM.
I was
so-
thinking the courier would get the gold, like he'd just start growing money bags, you know.
That'd be sick, actually. Just like get your courier like
The
rapier.
courier has a special courier shop that he can use.
All right.
Imagine that like meta game.
All right,
Oh,
before we go
God.
too off the rails on this replay, I'm just gonna say you're fucking AFK. Your Slark was right. You are literally doing nothing in this lane as of
Okay,
like Spirit
Slark
5.
is super bad too, and you both should buy way more regen, but it's time to leave this lane. Like, this is something I try and teach support players a lot, is like, if you have no impact in the lane, your number one job as a support, actually,
Is to
that I
have
try and teach
impact.
people, have impact in 2 lanes.
Yes.
Always try and have a positive impact in 2 lanes
Yes.
within 10 minutes, every support game, and I promise you will gain MMR no matter what MMR you are.
Yes.
If I'm 7k and I can win 2 lanes, I'm going to be 7,500. If I'm 2k and I can win 2 lanes, I'm going to be 2,500.
You're gonna
I can
be
just tell you that right now.
3,000 MMR. It's like
Yeah.
exponential.
I was just speaking with Newsham, and he does this thing where he has these like brain waves while he's trying to sleep, and he can't sleep, so he just fucking writes shit down. So he wrote this like entire essay on how bad 7k supports are, and how the shittiest thing that supports do is when their core is able to just free farm a lane, they sit there and try to help deny.
Right.
And he was saying that like that literally everyone can get 6 or 7k if you just follow a flowchart to figure out what to do in that exact situation. When you're sitting and helping denying, that's when you shouldn't be there, and
Yep.
that's when good players will figure out something else to do instead.
Yep.
Until they need to come back. Like anytime you're having that impulse where it's like, I'm helping denying right now, you're not. You're losing.
Yep.
That's when you're being
Yeah.
Yeah,
work.
you're basically not a hero. Helping your carry to deny creeps is essentially
Right.
like not being a hero on the map.
That's not existing. That's not doing anything. And
Yeah.
and figuring out what to do after that point. Now, I can't tell you how to do that. That's the hard part, right? You could go gank mid, you could go stat camps, you could go stop their meepo from farming. But the baseline is when you are helping denying, do something else, because that's not that's the baseline for doing good actions on a support in the laning stage.
You should
I've
be
had
going mid
so
and just killing the
much fun with
Zeus off of cooldown. Like sniper
always
shrapnels,
super-
you drop your Q,
Yeah,
Zeus dies. He respawns, he TP's back. Sniper shrapnels, you drop your Q, Zeus dies, and the game is over because they don't have a
The
Zeus.
amount of times I've had position 4s, like divine position 4s, sit in my lane when the lane is under tower, just standing there soaking.
So
It's like,
dumb.
Excuse me, sir. You realize we split this experience 50-50, right? So that means if you're getting any experience anywhere else and I'm not there, we're getting an advantage.
and that means you're winning Dota if you're getting an advantage.
Speaking of I want to go back to what you were talking about. I have this video on my YouTube channel, which is honestly probably the best video I've ever made. It's called How to Roam on Any Hero. And it actually does exactly what you talked about. Like,
Full chart?
yeah, like here's, I'll send you the screenshot right now. You should be able to
Well,
see
just
it.
put it in chat, man. You're allowed to promote yourself.
Anyways, look at the picture. Like 5 questions I should ask myself every game. Like the thing I try and teach people is set a conscious precedent.
Yeah.
Like start the game thinking about what you're supposed to do in the game. So like if I start the game and say, well, after this lane, am I gonna sit in lane with Slark forever? Who can I kill? Who actually do I set up as a Void Spirit? Who sets me up? When am I strong? How does the mid lane matchup work? When can I rotate it off lane? Which outpost do I want to get? How good are they at controlling the top outpost versus the bottom outpost based on their 2 here? Like if you start a game asking yourself a dozen questions, especially as a support, you can set up a narrative for how you're going to approach and play the game, and that's how you're going to 1, learn, 2, succeed, and 3, improve.
And
All right,
on
Mr.
a final
Motivational
note-
Speaker.
Final note. That sounds like a lot of information, like a lot of things that you have to do, and that's the way you need to accomplish that is by like playing less Dota, honestly, like thinking about it more instead of just like mindlessly autopilot playing. Because if you're not willing to like put in the mental effort in order to figure out like what you're gonna do before the game starts, then the game is gonna be hard. Like I find that's always the problem is people go in and they just play and they kind of expect the game to play out in front of them.
Yep.
But you have to be the one that's making stuff happen, you know. But in order to do that, you have to have a plan. And in order to plan, well, it's pretty, you know, it requires a bit of mental effort.
Yeah, I legitimately think that you should write down one thing that you learned about Dota after every single game, and it'll
That's
not
a
only
good idea,
will it reset your brain because you'll just suddenly not be thinking about the last game in terms of like my team was that game was hard, blah blah blah. You're just gonna have to like digest that and then do an action, which is to put it on paper, and then you can move on to your next one. So you like regain a little semblance of, I don't know. Dota is a very energy intensive game when it comes to your brain. Like you will fry yourself out if you play like 10 games a day every day.
Yeah.
Hardcore. So take a little break between each game and use that time to just think about the last game and pick one thing that you learned from it.
Yeah. Like I don't want to pretend that it's like you should spend 8 hours a day thinking and playing Dota. It's more so like in the maybe 2 to 3 hours or whatever games that you're gonna play in a day. It's like take breaks between and like think about it instead. Because I know like obviously we all do it full time, so it's not reasonable to expect people to like work and do Dota.
Yeah.
But I think like Newsham, for example, he doesn't play a lot of Dota, but he's really good at it. He watches it a lot, he thinks about it a lot. And that's how he's good. Like I don't think you need to play a lot to be good. As long as like you're putting in the right effort, that's kind of what matters, is that you're doing the right practice.
Yep. All right, so this one says, Position 5 Venge, this game felt unwinnable. I know I underestimated Clock's ability to solo kill me in lane, so I died twice stupidly off the bat. But I thought my drow would have been safe-ish alone in the lane against Void Spirit. Oh, no way, man. And I didn't want to just sit behind her. That's good. I felt completely lost past minute 7. I wanted to play around Axe, but he was jungling. That doesn't make any sense. And I didn't think I could be active with either other core. Any advice around supporting cores? I just want to farm.
Henry has no advice for that apparently because he has
He left. Henry's gone.
left the vicinity. He's done. Sorry, Dark Soul size man. Henry was telling me before the stream he really doesn't like you, and when your replay comes up, he just can't. He can't take it.
Yep.
I'm just kidding. So you're basically asking, what do you do when your cores want to just jungle and be useless? And
and you're an active hero like Venge.
Yeah, my answer to that is like push side lanes and kind of play as a core yourself. That's kind of all you can do. And I mean, this hero's okay at it. She's a decent right clicker. You can get like treads, and even with tranquils, you can sit in a side lane, split push. Like let your team essentially be the heroes that you're making space for. Because usually you'd have one of the cores like running around killing people and making space, but sometimes somebody just needs to feed so that your team's like jungling is okay, because it's like, okay, well at least there's map pressure because it's one hero, and that allows your team to jungle too because they'll keep the map open for them.
Yeah, I also wanted to say this is your best spell in the laning stage, Wave of Terror, but I think it's really important. We've been talking a lot about intentionality and like having a plan. The only way that you or the Drow die in this lane for the first few levels is if Clockwork battery assaults you. So you need to have your stun so that you can create distance between you or your Drow and the Clockwork at level 1. I think that's like preventative action and decision making is all.
I just think you don't skill until you know how the lane plays out.
I don't think you need the stun. I'm more so. I feel like you can use the W to push out the lane and just not play.
You can do that too, yeah.
Being around the Clockwork, but once again, the important thing is intentionality. Is like knowing how you're going to play the lane before actually playing the lane. Because like this sort of thing, running and trading. I mean, that's okay. It looks like he's being a big bitch, but I think he should just press Q on you and run at you, and then you take way more damage than he does.
Yep.
This is definitely him making a pretty big mistake.
I think you should be wave of terror and then set yourself up to pool. This is something you have to be like ahead of the know when you have double archer and the wave's gonna push. Like this is a common mistake of lower MR players. Like you run back and you sit behind your core and start trying to help deny, which we talked about before, as opposed to
never
contributing a little bit to pushing the wave and then going to pool is gonna help way more than what you were doing.
Right.
Either as a support, if you're ever behind your core in the lane near the creeps, you are making a mistake. You either need to be in the trees on the side being aggressive, or you need to be out of the lane entirely pulling. Like those are the two places that you should play, and nowhere else.
Right now, I'm playing with my friend, and we're doing carry mid. We were talking about it before, me, Jenkins, and Donnie, but we're doing carrying mid. Like my friend's like 7,800, and so he plays with a lot of 5K supports. So imagine he's 3,000, 2,500 MR higher than his supports. In the safe lane, and he's constantly telling them to take the damage in the lane, to go in front of them, have Razor static link you, have the enemy hero stun you, because that's like your job as the support. You have to be like, you have to take the damage, you have to trade, you have to absorb some of the pressure in the lane.
Yeah, you can think of your 600 HP as giving Drow an additional 600 HP. That's like how you need to think about it, because if you think about it, Drow, 640 HP, if she suddenly has 1,300 health, this hero is like unkillable, which is what you want.
Oh man.
No. You guys should just be playing to the creeps. I don't know why you're trading with these guys behind your tower. This accomplishes nothing. Like
this is exactly what happens when you don't pull when you're supposed to.
They're not even pressuring you off of the creeps. They're just like standing behind your tower. You just let them jerk themselves off back there. And you go.
And this guy actually just said easy in the chat, so you're probably at this point psychologically damaged.
Yeah. Oh, this is a rough one.
Enjoy your walk. Got some banter coming out.
Nice. You got to give him a little sass to repair the morale on your team, because your Drows and yours is probably quite low at this point.
Yeah, this lane is like kind of thrown at this point, to be honest. Like
Drow's still doing alright. Drow's still doing alright. I don't know.
Drow's doing okay, but it's like because the enemy team is also just throwing as well. Like you could have like dumpstered them by this point if you guys weren't just like needlessly trading with them behind your own tower. Like they weren't even interrupting your pull or something. It was just kind of like Clock chased you and you just hit them as you chased. Then you just kept hitting, get the courier killed, and like if you don't fight them there, that courier doesn't even die because Clock has no reason to be over there. He wasn't pressuring. He was only pressuring because you let him pressure you.
Yeah.
You want to skip a little bit because there's two things that should either happen in this lane. Either Drow goes jungle, and you hold this lane for as long as you can, maybe die here and there, or you leave this lane and you go win the off lane. Like one of those two things has to happen in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're seeing a lot of coming back to a lane that you can't really impact over and over and over, doing a whole lot of nothing at the moment.
Yeah. We're watching Drow, but the Venge on the mini map is doing nothing. Like, let's watch Venge. It's the Venge
that we're reviewing. So here's the thing. I mean, we see the Clock. Clock already got his Void Spirit to the point where Void Spirit can solo the lane, and now he's.
Why
gone.
are you not TPing, by the way, Bo? You're walking this whole way. One, why do you have a wand before you have boots? And two, why are you not TPing?
Yeah.
The wand is like super low value compared to stick. Just buy the boots. Like you bought wand winlace. You just buy stick and boots. It's like way better. Like
zero wand charges so far.
Yeah.
It's like not enough fighting at this point to get.
So you're walking back bottom where you already shouldn't be. Like I said, Void Spirit Clockwork shit on Drow. So your Drow should be jungling, and you have two options, like I said. You either hold this lane, which means you're probably going to die. You're playing in what we call the dead lane.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Or you straight up leave this lane, and maybe Silencer goes bottom since he's a better hero at doing that.
Yeah, I
or
was
you
gonna
just
say.
go tri lane and kill the Dazzle top, and then pressure this Weaver out of his lane the same way they did to your Drow. This is how you play support. Like, you cannot just keep doing nothing.
Yeah,
I think,
or you go mid with the DK and take mid tower. Like, just do anything that doesn't involve continuing to lose the lane that you're in right now.
This is one of those situations where I actually think there's no hero on your team that can hold a safe lane tower.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah,
I think anybody goes down there and feeds. Well, who cares? Just
Right.
take
Yeah,
their-
it doesn't matter if somebody dies. Just get the
They
ult.
also can't hold a safe lane tower. It's like Puck that can do it, but if you bring everybody there, you just take their safe lane tower while they're taking yours, and then it's an even trade. But the big mistake is just staying bot and dying like a few times on your important heroes, which has happened.
You still don't even have boots, man, because you're just not doing anything other than wasting time. You have to think about, like, where are you most able to contribute to the game and why. And that location is like your team is your best at killing with Axe, probably, maybe Dragonite, and you're best at killing Dazzle. So these are like the two factors in your head that should be like, it's easiest for me to kill Dazzle and it's easiest for me to play Axe. Those two factors both coincide at the top lane. I should be at the top lane. This is how you have to, like, come to conclusions and learn about the game and make decisions. You have to actually have these factors and have this insight.
I think it's also fine to play to the DK because he wants to pop his ulti and just
you can push
towers.
the mid tower. I just think that you're gonna get owned by Clockwork Void Spirit, like, with rotations if you push mid. I honestly think, like, mid tower is really hard to.
Mid, yeah. I mean, you could go top, you could go mid. Like, if the thing is, like, if you DK ult and you push the mid tower, and they all TP, you just back off, and then the map is bad for you. Like,
it's very important that you guys pressure a lane with 3 heroes prior to them having coil, hookshot, void spirit ulti.
Yeah, that would be fast. That would be good.
It's just your ability to actually play this game is fucked. I don't know how you actually have an impact as Venge, number 1, this game, and 2, win this game. And from this point, you just shouldn't.
I think basically all you can do right now is just swap people who get hooked, and that's literally your only job, which sucks ass.
Break the coil.
Well, I would just. Well, I mean, it's gonna be really hard, but the way you, like, eke a lead back into this game, or, like, lower them from 6K net worth lead to 5K to 4K, is you go play with the cores that you can enable. So Axe and DK, smoke with them into the jungle. Like, Axe can kill this Weaver when he gets blinked. Like, play around their timings, play around them. But at the moment, you're level 5 at 12 minutes, and you're getting boots right now. So, like, your whole game has been ruined by virtue of not thinking about where you're useful and where you can actually accomplish anything.
Yeah, and the point is, like, no matter how bad your game is, no matter how bad your matchup is, it should never be this bad. Because if you're thinking actively, like, I don't mean that as a play, but, like, if you are actively thinking about the game, you should never get this owned ever. Period.
Yeah, there was so much just running between lanes with no boots that, like, you've basically ruined your own game at this point.
Yeah, you were looking for an opportunity instead of thinking about where the opportunity is.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to the next one.
We have a final replay from the wonderful Hockey Millionaire, the biggest dicked Australian that I know, personally.
Yeah.
Other than their prime minister. She's pretty cool. Have you seen... Oh, wait, no, that's the New Zealand prime minister. Is that the same country? New Zealand's like a province in Australia, right?
That's really offensive to anyone from New Zealand.
What?
What you just said.
That I said that their president has a big dick?
No, you said that they're a province of Australia.
Yeah, I think that's true, man. Australia is a continent.
All right.
Or is that Austria? I think Australia is part of Austria.
Sure. I don't know. NA education.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Hockey says, this was a 3 games past my last one for the night. Classic, super tired. Game felt good for a while. Yeah, move on to the next one. This one's going to be trash. What do we need to do? In my opinion, felt like team fights weren't executed correctly. Possibly, not really sure. How should they have been played? How to play the team fights. All right, we'll skip all the other bullshit and go straight to the team fight. Have you ever played 3 too many games in a night, Henry?
Yeah, I actually made a tweet the other day that said I actually destroyed my old car by playing 27 games straight, not sleeping for 2 days, and then leaving to go buy coffee so I could play more Dota and stay awake longer. And I actually just crashed into a guardrail and just destroyed my old car. They wouldn't even like fix it because it wasn't worth the it cost more to fix it than the car's worth.
Right.
So I actually just should have went a year. I just got a new car today. Actually, I should have went a year without a car because I just destroyed my car because of Dota. So
Oh, this
I
wasn't
actually probably played
recently
about
that you did that.
no, yeah, it was last October. So I
Okay.
just got now December, a year later.
Sure.
I just got a new car, and I had my license got suspended because of that.
Was that the night where PPD the PPD thing came from, where he was doing the interview with Hotbit and he was like, "Shout out to my boy Henry, he just played like an entire night
that
and
was
lost like
that
20
was a
straight games."
That was a different night. The fact that I've done that many times is like, I actually feel way better about myself as a person that I probably haven't gone 15 games straight in Dota in so long. Like, it's probably been 10 months since I last hit over 10 games straight, I think.
Hey guys, I just had to grab a cup of tea.
I used to be able to run 20 games straight, and nowadays I'm hitting like 6, 7, 8 on a good day.
Oh,
so-
damn, you're good. You're
Yeah.
a good boy.
That's good
Oh,
stuff.
fuck.
I was just telling him, Jenkins, how I destroyed my car by playing 27 games straight and
Oh, yeah.
not sleeping for 2 days and crashing into a guardrail.
Did you tweet that or did
Yeah, I
you tell me?
tweeted that.
Oh, you tweeted that.
I
read
was
that
just
on your
telling
Twitter.
Donnie, yeah.
Let me see how many I played yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's actually not that bad for me.
Yeah, I mean, 8 is a good number if you're a full-time player like us, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me
Like
see.
full-time Dota.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's the day that I lost 300 MMR. I played 14 in a row.
Correlation or causation? I wonder.
I don't
Henry,
think I've
we
ever
play-
beaten
we playing
27.
after this, by the way. Let's go, buddy. All right, sweet.
I don't think I've ever beaten 27.
I'm in.
I think
Boost
that's
me,
my
boys. Boost
highest.
me. I'll play a 5 for you.
Tri-Q is actually like
It's trash. Yeah.
It's not possible. I really want a trio queue with people, because it's like somebody's duo partner will just be better than me. I don't have an ego. I can admit if somebody's better than me. I understand people want to gain MMR. They'd play with me if that person wasn't online.
Yeah, that's why I was playing with Victor. And I was like, Jenkins wants to join Sui Trio, and he's like, "Yeah, we could try one game. Let's try one game." You know?
Just if you queue trios, number one, the queue time's like 50 minutes, and then you're just against some other trio that has 2 Smurfs. So
Yeah.
if you win,
exactly.
you
They
get
have 2
nothing.
Smurfs, and then
If
their
you-
other 2 guys are higher MMR than your other 2 guys.
Yeah, exactly. So if you win, you get nothing. If you lose like possibly 3 games worth almost of MMR. So it's like it just feels bad, man. Duo queue is the only way to go. Anyway,
I want to just say that I completely love how you're playing this lane right now. Like, the fact that you're making Lina nowhere near your PA is a very, very good move, because this is one of those lanes where it's like, yes, you want to bully the Underlord off your PA because the Underlord can bully your PA, but to do that, you also have to bully the Lina out first, because you can't just trade with the Underlord and then allow the Lina to fuck you.
yeah, I think Hockey Laner is like a really good laner typically.
Yeah.
I think that's his strongest
Yeah.
strongest suit.
I mean, he's been coached by me, so you know.
Has he?
Yeah.
He's been coached by all 3 of us.
He's such a.
That's why
he's
he's
such a-
owning, man.
I love this guy, man. He's so nice. He freaks the fuck out though. Is the problem. He's got some binge queue.
Well, what's
issues.
so funny is he was like a very mild mannered Dota player. He'd play like a few games a day, and then we coached him a couple of times, and he gained like 1,500 MMR and went from being like a Crusader to like Legend 4, and then he immediately started binge queuing, and like as soon as he gained
I'm
1,500
addicted.
MMR, he
He
just
hit
became
the wall,
super addicted.
boys.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually have a funny story that's not related. It's kind of related to that, but not related to this. I have a friend who's like ranked 60. I don't know if you know RRL Jenkins.
Oh, I know RRL. Yeah, isn't he like?
Yeah.
He's 16.
Yeah, he's really good. And
That's crazy, man.
he used to be like the most chill, like mild mannered guy. And then one day we were just playing a pub with him, and this guy was just flaming him. We're like, "You can't take that. Like, you gotta fight back. Like, you flame him back or something." And ever since then, he's just getting low priority all the time and
Oh,
just became
no.
like extremely toxic. And we just feel so bad because we turned like this sweet, calm 16-year-old kid into a massive raging asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
He might be the best young player that I know of. There's like Little Nick, but
Yeah, they're not even on the same like,
RRL is like
capacity. Yeah, Lil Nick's
RRL
like
is
600. RL's 8K. So
yeah, he's insane. Good for him, man.
All
I
right.
don't think people know that he's 16. Anyway,
So let's go into this. Game felt good for a while, then went south. Felt like team fights weren't executed correctly. So let's go to the team fights.
All right. I want to
Yeah,
issue an apology to Hawkillionaire. I actually think Blightstone on 5 Spitfire or
It's
whatever.
good,
the fuck
yeah.
it
I
is
did it
good.
too. That one's, yeah.
I think it's actually good.
Yes.
And the build is max the E and go W. And I think you skip the Q for the most part.
Yep. I think you can
That's-
get one if it's going to help you get a kill, but other than that, like, Cookie's just better. And then being able to right click people and take towers with bullet
I
shredder is
love
nasty.
the support build, maxing the W and the E. Like, I think it's so much better of a hero if
Yep.
you play this.
Why do you have 3 wards in your inventory when there's 2 on the map already? About to time out.
Yeah, you don't really need to. I mean, I guess your teammates are probably idiots, so they probably won't ward for themselves yet. So maybe you should do it. But I think you don't need to worry anywhere near as much on position 5 about warding.
Mhm.
Like you can have way more of a core role in games, and it goes back to like what we'd always say about position 4. And I think position 5 is like that now, where if you aren't having a core role in the game and the enemy position 5 is, and they're playing the new 7.23 meta style of position 5, you're going to lose because they're going to have a strong pause 5 and you're not. So I'm not saying like don't ward at all. I'm just saying like I think less value on warding these days is a pause 5 and more value on like making your own game good is how people are playing right now. And you can play that way because of all of the new changes.
Yeah. One thing I want to say right now, because you were asking about team fights, is you need to, like we've said many times in stream, you need to think ahead. Right now, what I see is you do not have control of the bottom outpost. It's 15 minutes, 25 seconds into the game. So that means you didn't have control 25 seconds ago, most likely. And you don't have control of the top outpost. Or if you do, like there's a fight breaking out around it. So you don't have control of this either. So that's a mistake. And 3 of your teammates are top wanting to fight. So you probably should have been up here like 30 seconds ago to fight for this outpost and let your PA farm bottom. Half of taking a team fight is taking the right team fight. And in this case, you don't want to fight with your PA, but you do want to fight with your other 3 heroes. So you should go to them and take a team fight around an objective with them.
Right. I think the heroes you want to play around in the fights are Earthshaker, probably when he has a Blink Dagger, and Spirit Breaker before the Earthshaker's blink, because they can set up for your ultimate. Like you need to play around your stunners.
Yep.
With these heroes.
Yeah, this is something like I try and tell people is if you don't know which core to play with, you're probably supposed to play in kind of pairs with your other support.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that also
So
works.
set up the ulti. So yeah, I mean, definitely.
The Spirit Breaker is the other support, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't tell.
I assume it's
hard to
Shaker
tell.
3, but who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to tell these days.
All right, so
'Cause-
here's another team fight that you're showing up to a little bit late.
What do you think about his skill build, by the way?
I think skip the Q, honestly.
Skip the Q. I've been maxing Q. You think you max E?
I think that's garbage. I think I would.
This scaling
would
is kind
say,
of bad.
what I would say is
Well, you
try.
realize
going-
it does extra 50% up close, so the scaling is a lot
Yeah.
better than it looks.
Yeah.
It's
No,
true.
no, no. What I would say is try going for the W and the E, and you will feel so good about life. Like that shit blew my mind. The E, it's like it's almost like Edict. Like you can use it to like take towers insanely quickly. Really, like I think the E is super good for like laning and like pushing people out of lanes, even past the laning stage. And the W is just like your support ability. It's your stun. Like you put it on some hero and like jump them in and like chain stun. It's insanely good at supporting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a different skill build than I'm going, but I'm willing to try this.
I tried. Let me tell you, I was going the Scatterblast build first, but then I tried the W and E build, and I was like, wow, this hero's actually fucking good. Like I thought the hero was garbage when I went for the Q.
How do you
Because-
how do you deal with not having enough mana on this hero? Do you go what mana item do you go for?
Arcanes.
Arcanes,
I go
okay.
Aetherlands, Greaves, or Yules.
What about you,
Yeah,
I
Jenkins?
used to go a combination of those 3 items.
What
Any
about
of them,
Soul
you-
Ring? How do you feel about that?
Soul Ring's good. Yeah, it's a strength hero. I honestly think if you don't have Q, W, and E, then you don't need that much mana regen. Look, it's 200 mana between your 2 spells.
Listen, Soul Ring's okay. My problem with Soul Ring is that's set like 800 gold, and then another 100 gold you have Arcanes, which is just
True.
way better than
True
a Soul
that.
Ring.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
point.
true. Yep, and that builds into Ether, builds into Lotus.
Yeah,
as
builds
well.
in all your other items.
Yeah,
Like
that makes sense.
Greaves, Aether.
I like
Lewis.
Arcanes. I've
Yeah,
I've been
think
finding a lot that getting Arcanes on 5s, especially in pubs, is like extremely overpowered because most people don't abuse clarities at all.
Yeah, and drink your clarities, by the way, hockey.
Yeah.
Drink up.
Always have a clarity going unless you're
Slam
taking
those back,
damage.
man.
Yeah.
Chug 'em.
Yeah, I've been watching you walk around for like 30 minutes.
He's a-
I'm
he's
drinking
a-
this clarity. It's
He's a
making me
big
nervous.
beer drinker too, so I know I know he's very good at slamming them back. So yeah, just
Not
chug
the
'em.
only
This
thing
is
he's
one
good
thing
at
you can do
slamming.
as a support. When you just walk by like that centaur, that minotaur, you can just kill it. Although this warlock's gonna come feed, so it's good. that you-
Yep. That's definitely one thing that I've noticed a lot of support players who are like, I can't have impact as a support. I'd never have any farms. Like, dude, you just walked by this camp that has like a half health
Especially-
centaur. Just kill that shit,
Dude,
You know?
especially if it's the minute mark and camps are about to respawn.
Yep.
Kill it, man. That is gold that's gonna be there in 10
I thought
seconds.
you were gonna say, especially if you have 5 clarities.
Well, yeah, that too. But that's actually going back to the build. Maxing the E, it's really good for pushing lanes. Actually, like if you W into the lane and then press your E, you can use it to like kill all of the creeps just with those two abilities.
Take
You
the
don't-
bottom outpost, please, guys. Yeah, you do. Cool. You honestly gonna man up and take the tower too. Looks like you're gonna.
Do it. Go shoot it with your little shredder. It won't even.
I'm
hit
not
you
a big
back.
fan of positioning down in this area. I don't think this tower is.
It's not an important tower, but they're already here. And the
Yeah,
enemy,
yeah. But I think
the enemy's
I think,
playing in
like,
3 lanes, so like.
I think this situation where you were top and then you walked mid because stuff was happening mid, and then you walked bot because stuff was happening bot is bad. And when the top, when you kill them top and you win the fight top, just push the tower and wait there and ward behind the tower and like take the next fight there. And
Honestly,
like you could like have one person go mid and then connect to top or something if there's some shit happening mid. Like that's fine too.
in the past, the safe lane has been pretty valueless, and we've like, all preached about the dead lane and stuff like this. But I really do think the least important tower now is the mid tower, and these 2 side lane towers are really important to take. And I actually think that the value of heroes that can dominate the safe lane and like leverage that into a safe lane tier 1 tower, because that's like the hardest tower to take is the enemy offlane tower.
Yeah.
So like having like a Chan and a DP on your team and just taking that tower and then naturally getting your offlane tower as well. Like,
You get
can
both
take those-
outposts in this game over.
Yeah, you get both
It's,
outposts. I think
it's-
that's super valuable.
It's interesting you say that. I've heard a couple of other people say that too, that they think the mid tower is like way less value. And it's
I
interesting
can see
because in competitive, like everybody's just running at the mid tower like 5 minutes.
I think that's
everybody-
old. Yeah, I think it's old.
Everybody's still valuing, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that I think if you are right, people are slow to catch up, which happens
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
though.
yeah.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, just logically,
What?
the outpost.
How'd the jug just appear here? What the
What?
fuck was that?
Hello?
What's going on?
Where did this
Wait,
jug
watch
come
this.
from?
Watch this. He gets stunned too.
Where does the jug come from? He must have been invis trying
He's
to
in
omni
his
or something.
invis. Watch out. I'm probably so fucking confused.
Boom.
What the fuck? It was actually just invis.
Oh my god. Dude, the junk is just like, dude, this guy is map hacking.
That's the best part about Dota is so many things like this. It's just like complete fucking luck.
Hockey Laner just shitting his pants.
Can I just say the junk is super farmed and kitted out with random items?
Uh.
It's making me scared.
Yeah, this is
That's
not
funny.
looking good.
Yeah. I casted a game today where it was Envy's team against Gelato, and they took the safe lane tower at like 5-6 minutes, and then they came bottom as 4 to take the offlane tower at like 8 minutes, and Gelato literally TP'd 5 heroes in to defend it because they're like, if we lose our 2 outpost access points, the game is completely over.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is definitely true. Or you need to like make a trade.
Yeah.
You really need to make a trade.
Yeah.
And then just play that area of the map because it's really hard to play the side lanes
Yes.
with
if
without
they
those
have
2
if they
towers.
have 2 towers and 2 outposts, you actually cannot play Dota. It's not possible. You can't split
Dude, this is-
push. Like,
I'm actually like I'm thinking more and more about it. My brain is just like going in the back here like some fucking hamster running in a wheel. And yeah, I'm just thinking like how many games are centered around the side lanes and somebody goes and tries to take an outpost and they're sneaky about it. 2 people TP in, all of a sudden there's a fight there. 2 people TP to the other outpost, and it's like now everybody's used their TPs and nobody's around the mid lane ever.
Yeah.
And if you ever expend your TPs towards the mid lane, then you just lose both outposts. Like,
Yeah. Also, if you think about it right now,
I'm with you, man.
mid kind of gives you access to nothing. Like it has entry points to the jungle, but as we learned in last patch,
feel
entering enemy high ground, like into their high ground jungle, is like really, really bad most of the time.
And I feel like securing a jungle is really hard. Like, now you just always have jungle camps to use because there's one on the low ground here, one on the high ground here, ancient camp there. Like, there's all of these random camps. It seems like people aren't controlling areas. It's all Dota's all about the outposts right now. Like, they're way overtuned.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm with you, Henry.
All right, let's try and fund one more team fight so we can see.
I know Hockey Laner loves when we go on our rants, so
He does.
he won't mind.
I mean, your main priority in teamfight is trying to set up a stun on one of these important heroes via your PA and Spirit Breaker, cooking them.
Like, yeah.
And then blasting people with your ulti. It's actually not that complicated. It's just thinking about how you can actually execute it.
Question.
Yep.
So if Spirit Breaker charges past you, because the projectile speed of Cookie is quite slow, you could probably Cookie him, and it will catch up after his charge lands, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, but
It does
who's to
interrupt
say
his charge, though.
It does interrupt the charge if it hits before.
You want to look out.
And second is, who's to say he's gonna not just cookie past the guy, like collide and then just cookie away, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he wants. He wants to charge in, blink out, reset.
By the way, we were talking about items earlier. What's that item that blinks you and has like a 3-second cooldown?
I don't remember what that one is, but that one's ridiculous.
It also
flicker?
dispels debuffs or something.
Yeah,
It's
flicker.
It's a ridiculous item. Getting
Yeah.
that on
Something
puck is like wet dream.
Yeah.
Blinks you in a random direction, but
Yeah, random,
dispels
and I
you.
think it dispels debuffs.
It does, yeah.
It's
Helm of Undying, man. I got that on Lycan the other day, and
I actually-
it's
yeah.
cool because you keep the ulti and your minions keep running at people like an extra like 5 or 6 seconds or whatever it is. With all
Flicker-
of your units up. It's
super
insane.
good on Leshrac too.
Flicker is not good on certain heroes, though, I will say, because
Yeah.
I had it on Invoker and I just accidentally blinked into a Bloodseeker with Abyssal Blade and instantly died. So I was like, I'm gonna flicker around here.
Dude, what about that new Abyssal Blade, man?
It's so
That's
good.
nuts, dude,
I'm
man.
so sick of that item.
It's so good.
I had an Ursa just straight rush Abyssal Blade, like phase boots Abyssal Blade.
That
and
seems fair.
Honestly, it doesn't seem
Doesn't
that
even
bad.
need a blade. He doesn't need
pretty
drums.
good.
He just
No,
abyssals
no.
people from 10,000 miles
Damn,
away.
2 third eyes. Holy shit. Wow. That's possibly the best item.
I think they might have tuned the game to give you similar items to the other team these days. I feel like I've been seeing a lot
I
of
agree with that.
duplicates.
I've noticed that, yeah. As opposed to the start of this
Yeah,
meta or whatever.
it was very, very random at first, but I feel like I've been seeing a lot of like if one item drops, there's like a higher chance that it will drop for the other team as well.
Huh.
At least that's what I saw in the
I
games
have-
that I
have
watched
seen
today.
I have seen like a lot of double quickening charms and stuff. All right, let's look at this fight. Let's watch this.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to like just look to play with your abilities on your teammate's stuns. So like when he misses that stun there, you want to be pressing your ultimate in anticipation for him like using the stun. You want to go in with your dudes. Not like this like counter initiating thing. I don't think is the play. I think the play is to initiate with your guys. You know, like wait for their stuns as opposed to like, oh, the enemy team is grouping up and killing my guys. Then I'm gonna press the ulti.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like counter initiating versus like going on the initiation. I think you go on the initiation with this hero.
I mean, because
only
you have
go on
travel time on your molten globs, so you should literally say go on this guy, and then you use your ult, and then shoot one, and then they stun the person, and they're stuck in
Yeah.
your ult.
She's saying don't lead with the ulti, basically.
No, I'm saying do lead.
No,
with
no,
it.
no. What Jenkins is saying, going with your guys. That means like lead with your Q and your W and your E, and then ulti.
That's fine. Like I think you just need to make sure that when your Earthshaker is pressing his Fissure and he's pressing his Echo Slam, you need to be pressing the ulti. Like you just want to get the ulti off in the damage that your team is doing and the stuns your team is doing, and the enemy team will be running away from you because there's too much damage, and then that's when you get them with like the final blast of it or whatever. That's how I see people playing with it. It's like as Spirit Breaker goes in and he's charging, you wind up the ulti so that when he hits, you're getting each hit as much as possible.
I just think the whole way you constructed this fight's a little awkward, and you should just convince your team to use your smoke and a little bit more leadership.
Right.
Avoided this whole fight.
Yeah.
It's like showing up after the fact and kind of like, oh shit, we're losing this fight. I need to use my thing.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So here's the last fight they're gonna watch. Fight's happening
similar
all over the
situation.
place, showing up late. Fight's already over. Farming.
Like looking to actively use this ability off cooldown, I think is really important.
Random stuff happening. I mean, honestly, this could be one of those games where it's like you just never get to take a team fight because your team just constantly gets picked off and you never have 5 people. That happens sometimes. Sometimes you just lose the game because you never can actually utilize your spells together because people just die. And you can't do much about that.
Yep. Damn, that guy's hoarding items. This looks pretty close up until this point.
Yeah, you guys are heading
I
kills.
do think a lot of these fights could have been just no-brainers. Like you could have just destroyed them in these fights. I think if you were there as they started.
It's Echo slamming the Juggernaut, honestly. It's like 95% of the damage.
Yeah, exactly. Echo anybody. Like as long as you're, like this is all such a defensive usage of the ulti. I think.
Right.
And I mean, obviously you can't make your team do stuff, but you gotta try. It's the best way to win Dota. It's just trying, and eventually it'll happen. Eventually they'll get it through their 2 brain cells that they have.
All right, this is the most game-losing thing that people do below high
Chase
immortal.
out of base.
Okay, you literally already won this entire moment in Dota because you killed their Aegis Juggernaut who is planning on pushing your base. Boom, he dies. You go back to your base and you reset, and now the game is even again. The moment that you try and kill him a second time is when you throw the game. And this happens in every single fucking game I've ever played. Is you win a fight by killing the important hero, and then you continue to fight when it doesn't matter. And then they respawn, or you just like use all of your shit, and then you can't do anything afterwards, and then you keep fighting, and then they respawn, and then they kill you. Like, alright, so we disengage. This is correct. This is what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it actually turned out okay.
Good job, Hockey.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it. That was
Walking up the high ground.
our replay review was
ballsy.
what made him do that. We just secured his team that fight.
Yeah, you're welcome,
Alright.
Hockey.
Any final words?
No, I think his spell usage is decent. I think overall, I mean, it's definitely not a bad game. I think just the way they're approaching fights, and I think you guys never actually used your smoke. Like you're looking at Spiritbreaker's items, but I think he never used the smoke. I think that's a big way to start fights.
That's how you start fights. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, look,
Alright.
they tried to go high ground and through. What a surprise. That's never happened before.
Herald Gaming, baby.
Fucking heralds.
All right, is that it? That's the replays?
Yeah, we're done. We're good.
Sounds good. Also, don't queue with another support. Queue with the core.
Yeah, I think the double support queues rough out here.
I've never seen
although
that.
they both might just have everything, or
Yeah.
the other guy might have everything
It's true.
for fast queue. You
Oh
never
no,
know.
there's 3. They're tri-Q with the PA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's not
Alright.
bad.
That's okay.
That's
That's
it,
not bad.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to Henry for showing up and helping us with the
Thank you.
replay review.
Patreon.com/Dota Alchemy. Make sure to support your boys. Get these replay reviews. Get some Q&As. Get some coaching sessions. We're even gonna put some of Henry's stolen, pirated coaching sessions on there. And get some free Henry content as well by paying us.
It's true. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
He confirmed.
Henry,
Jenkins actually hacked me, and he's got not
did.
only all my coaching sessions, but my nudes, and he's selling them there
Oh.
too.
Henry,
I'm using
are you streaming
all the
tonight?
time.
Yeah, I'll be streaming tonight.
All right. You want to put your stream link in chat, and these people can go watch you.
Sure.
Learn
It's
I'll
some
be
more?
on the Henry stream too. We're gonna.
YouTube.com/com/HenryDota2/live,
Oh, sorry.
which is my temporary stream because my other one got banned for 3 months for listening to Lil Uzi Vert. I'm unbanned on December 12th. I'll be back to my main stream.
That's so funny.
It's funny, but until you realize how much money I actually lost because of that.
You can't catch a break.
It's true. Well, always onwards and upwards, Henry. All right, chat. We'll see you guys later.